Good morning, Springfield. It is great to be with you today, and we are coming to you for this very special December edition of Good Morning Springfield, which is always a great time together as a group for the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce. My name is Matt Morrow, and I'm privileged to serve as the president of the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce, and it's just great to welcome you here this morning at the granddaddy of them all for our final Good Morning Springfield of 2020. Thank you to our friends at Bass Pro Shops for hosting and sponsoring this event this morning. We are here in Santa's Workshop in Bass Pro Shops this morning, and it is so great to see that families can still safely share the wonder of Christmas here at Bass Pro. Our friends at Bass Pro Shops have a great program planned for us today, and I know we're all very much looking forward to it. I know I am. This is one of the most eagerly anticipated events of the year. So I'd like to take just a moment, if we could, to kick us off by thanking our series presenting sponsor for Good Morning Springfield this year, BKD Wealth Advisors. BKD Wealth Advisors serves upwards of $4 billion in assets under management, and they're very proud that more than $1 billion of that is from right here in the local Springfield market. This monumental achievement is a reflection of the hard work and dedication of this team to provide unmatched client service in every experience for their clients and for our community. We're so grateful to BKD Wealth Advisors for their support of Good Morning Springfield throughout 2020. While we've only been able to gather once in person since our March event, these virtual monthly programs have really connected thousands of viewers and participants and members of the Chamber and the community with much needed resources and afforded them access to timely updates directly from elected leaders who are making important decisions that are affecting our lives, including Senator Roy Blunt, Governor Mike Parson, and a number of others as well. Also, BKD CPAs and advisors hosted us in their studio for our July program of Good Morning Springfield, and that was a great treat as well. But the BKD Wealth Advisors team has always been so supportive of the Chamber of Commerce and of our business community. Prior to this pandemic, we had been discussing the success of their podcast, their Simply Tax podcast, which cuts through the static of the tax world to the benefit of many loyal listeners. And we were hoping to draw on their expertise to start our own local podcast, which you'll hear a little bit more about later today. Well, they quickly connected us with Leadership Springfield, which of course are great friends of ours here in this community as well, and as they had expressed a similar interest in podcasting. Well, thanks to BKD Wealth Advisors' encouragement, the Chamber of Commerce and Leadership Springfield will launch a new podcast, SGF Insider, on January 7th, 2021. We'll talk more about that toward the end of the program today. The Chamber's episodes, though, on that program are titled SGF Business Insider, and that provides us with a behind-the-scenes look at the work it takes to grow jobs, our workforce, and investment in the region. And the flip side of that is Leadership Springfield. So Leadership Springfield's episodes of this podcast will be entitled Plugged In, and those examine the ways that people can connect in our community to make a difference. I want to give a big thank you to BKD Wealth Advisors for going above and beyond in your support of Good Morning Springfield and the Chamber of Commerce and, of course, our community this year. I know the BKD Wealth Advisors team wishes all of you a very happy holiday season and a new year filled with success as we all work together to fuel economic recovery. As I mentioned, the Bass Pro Shops team has a wonderful program planned for us today. So we're going to kick that program off by hearing these monthly updates that our audience and members come to expect and count on from our public sector partners. Before we kick off those updates, I just want to thank our public partners for their hard work and support throughout all of 2020. We're grateful to live in a place where our leaders listen and partner with the business community and with other members of the community to find practical solutions even in unprecedented times. I also want to take a moment to thank our chairman of the board, Robin Robeson, who will be giving her last official Good Morning Springfield update today as chairman of the board. Robin, we are just so incredibly grateful for your leadership and for everything that you've done this year in these unexpected and challenging times. You quickly helped us focus our attention on direct business assistance to help those businesses, particularly small businesses, respond to and recover from the issues related to the pandemic. I want to thank you for your hard work, Robin, and for your service to the Chamber and its members this year as well. And we'll get to hear from her in just a moment. So at this time, I'd like to invite City Manager Jason Gage, Greene County Presiding Commissioner Bob Dixon, Dr. John Jungmann with Springfield Public Schools, and Robin Robeson to the podium for our monthly updates from the city, the county, Springfield Public Schools, and the Chamber of Commerce. And we'll start with the City of Springfield update. And with that, here's City Manager Jason Gage. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Matt. Good morning, and good morning, Springfield. I just have to say, if you haven't been to Santa's Wonderland, you need to get here. This is pretty cool. It brings out the kid in you, and then you have to chase it down. So this is exciting. I want to give a few updates that I hope you'll find important. First, talk a little bit about the Grant Avenue Parkway. The public engagement phase of the Grant Avenue Parkway and Corridor Project continues as we map out plans for this revitalization effort. We are pleased to have record numbers of people participating in the virtual workshops, despite COVID-19 barriers. The week before Thanksgiving, 267 people tuned in and participated in an interactive session, which is tremendous. Watch for additional opportunities to plug in after the first of the year. We also are seeing some major intersection improvement projects that are completed. Next week, we will host a virtual ribbon cutting for the completion of the Battlefield and Fremont intersection and roadway improvement project, funded through the city's quarter-cent capital improvement sales tax. The overall goal of the project was to increase capacity and improve flow of traffic in one of our busiest retail corridors. Widening Fremont north of Battlefield and providing an additional northbound lane is expected to help reduce bottlenecks and keep traffic flowing along Battlefield Road. Also, we've had progress on CARES Act funding for affordable housing and economic recovery business loans. The city's planning and development staff presented to the City Council a progress report on the first round of local community-designated CARES Act and home program grant allocations, totaling about $1.1 million. The Council passed a bill allocating just over $916,000 in community development block grant COVID-19 funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. This is a result of the CARES Act to assist Springfield citizens with affordable housing, services for the homeless, and for forgivable economic recovery business loans. The city allocated an additional $200,000 of our existing home loans for these purposes. To say that 2020 has been a challenging year is certainly an understatement. The coronavirus has threatened our health, the provision of public and private services in certain sectors of our economy. We have witnessed heinous acts against humanity that have created civil unrest and caused us to question the value of life. And yet, we're still feeling the sting of a very divisive national election. Yet some very, very good things are beginning to happen in Springfield. And as we look to 2021, it's time to focus on the positive and where we're going to go. We have seen commitments and commencement of some very impactful community projects, including the next phase of Missouri State's Idea Commons development, visioning for the Grant Avenue Parkway and Jordan Creek daylighting projects, a commitment from Amazon to develop in Republic, a commencement of the Ridge mixed-use development project on South Campbell, Costco, and additional downtown housing. Our school district, county, and colleges are also on the move. In addition, the city is committed to financially support a private athletic complex development and fund a significant portion of Cooper Park's soccer field upgrades. Both of these complementing each other in our community's capability to compete for tournaments at a regional and even a national level. We also continue to rebuild our development review and contracting processes with a focus on effectiveness and efficiency. At the same time, we're focusing on stabilizing and incentivizing investment in our core neighborhoods. From a social perspective, as a community, we're thinking much deeper about the value of human life and what it means to see through the eyes of another. 2021 will truly be a year for healing. So let's commit to each other to build on what matters most: our faith, our family, our friends, and our community. Thank you for your ideas, your support, and your collaboration. So for 2020, Jason Gage will be signing off for Good Morning Springfield. So next I'd like to invite Greene County Presiding Commissioner Bob Dixon to come to the podium. Come on up, Bob.
Thank you, Jason, and good morning, Springfield. Santa's Wonderland is quite a place. Santa's here. There's a really neat carousel here, so when you get a chance, come on in and enjoy. It's a privilege to give you this final update of 2020 from the Greene County Commission. I'll just mention to begin with that the Commission just recently reviewed and voted to approve an additional 80 CARES Act grants. Those relief applications totaled $544,000. To date, the Commission has approved $27.9 million, which represents just under 80% of the total funds made available to Greene County for local distribution. All of the organizations, entities, and businesses that receive grants are listed on the CARES dashboard, which you can find on the main page of our county website at greencountymo.gov under the CARES tab. Just a note that in the small business category alone, Greene County received and reviewed more than 600 grant applications. We're working diligently on our 2021 budget, and we continue to have our Commission decision meetings ongoing, which are all open to the public, and we invite your participation. Those will continue into the coming weeks as needed. Currently, Commission decision items add to $4.8 million total for all funds in recommended budget for appropriations is $264,935,057.04. Today marks day 252 of the construction at the Greene County Sheriff's Office and the new jail site located on Division Street and Hazeltine Road. If you drive by that site, you'll see a great deal of progress. Just last week, the Commission took a tour and was very impressed with the teams that are working and the work in progress that's going on. They're doing a great job of keeping that project on track and on budget. The project currently is 30% complete with a expected finish date of the spring of 2022. There's a total of 765 days planned for construction. It's been my pleasure to bring you these updates during 2020, and I look forward to doing the same in 2021. Happy holidays to you. It's now my pleasure to invite to the podium Dr. John Jungman with Springfield Public Schools.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, Springfield. Mr. Morrow, it's great to see you. And I would have to say, I've never felt pressure on a Good Morning Springfield like today. Santa is right there, right? I feel like he's making a list and checking it twice right now. So I'm working on the nice report right here, Santa. So remember me in a few days. So It's great to be here at Bass Pro, and I would just be remiss if I didn't say thank you to Bass Pro for always being our sponsor for the Tournament of Champions. Unfortunately, this year, we're going to take a pause on that due to COVID, but we can't wait to get that started again in the following year. We will have a small winter classic, so stay tuned for opportunities to see some great local teams this year and come out in January. Other things to report from Springfield Public Schools include we are about to adopt the school calendar for next year. We are already in planning for 21-22. The board is considering a calendar that would start on August 23rd next summer, so put that date on your calendar. It will also have some additional modifications that include using some electronic learning days or alternative method of instruction days for some of our snow days. We'll still have some traditional snow days, but we may have some other options to keep the learning going so we don't go quite as far into summer. So stay tuned. That is not this year's calendar. That is next year's calendar. Still regular snow days for this year, kids. I know you're excited about that. Flu shot clinics continue at SPS. We've delivered more than 4,500 flu shots across our system to students and staff, and would remind you to come and get those either from us or someone else as we get in the middle of this flu season. Also, really exciting news, our progress as promised continues, and it continues on a lot of fronts on the facility side. Number one, today at 3:30, we will celebrate the groundbreaking of the DAR Agra Academy, an incredible partnership with Missouri State University, the DAR Family Foundation, and Springfield Public Schools to open our newest magnet school in about 18 months. So 150 students will get to participate in that, and that all starts today. So watch for that media attention and also help us thank the Dar family for making this project possible. We also have the Jarrett groundbreaking for a new middle school that's going to be taking place next week, December 9th at 3 o'clock, and ribbon cutting for Sunshine Elementary, which we moved into this year. That will take place December 10th at 4:30. So great progress as promised. A couple modifications to the way schools are functioning during COVID are underway. Number one, we did get information from the CDC yesterday that will modify some quarantine standards, so stay tuned. That will have some impact on our students and our staff and when they can return back to school if they've been placed on quarantine. We will be getting information to all of you that are affected by that very soon. In addition, the governor, as well as Springfield Greene County Health Department, allowed for some modified quarantine opportunities for students with some new guidance that came out last week. And this only applies to K-12 students under very strict circumstances where we can modify their quarantine and allow them to continue in their learning experiences from 8 to 3. If that's affected you, you should be communicated with directly, and our goal is to keep kids learning through this whole process. And as I wrap up, I would just want to say thank you so much to our teachers, our students, our families, and our community for a successful first semester. We have made it nearly to Christmas, all of our schools open, and all of our kids continuing to learn with us, either in a hybrid mode or in an online mode. It has stretched us, it has made us better, and we will continue to get better as we get ready to open for January 4th, second semester. We look forward to seeing your students, and we look forward to you having a great holiday break. Good morning, Springfield. And now I would like to welcome Robin Robeson, Chairman of the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Dr. Jungmann, and good morning. And starting out, I'm going to exercise just a little bit of chairman's privilege this morning and wish my husband, Jim, a happy birthday. Today is his birthday, and so if you see him or talk to him, make sure you wish him a happy birthday. And he told me this morning all he wanted for his birthday was for it to snow today. And we don't have any snow outside, but Jim, I did speak to Santa this morning, and I know he has very special powers, and so I've asked him to make it snow for your birthday. So we'll see if he's able to come through with that. So happy birthday. It is a busy day today for the Chamber with Good Morning Springfield, and then also our Manufacturing Outlook event that will be presented virtually later today. Several local manufacturers will be offering their insights on the state of the industry in our area, and you'll also hear an interview with Josh Bays, a partner with Site Selection Group, about nationwide manufacturing trends. So we invite you to tune in to the Chamber website at 11 a.m. today to see that event. So that's the Manufacturing Outlook at 11 a.m. today. And then later this month, we'll have our final event in our 2020 Public Policy Speaker Series. It'll be an interview with outgoing Missouri House Speaker Elijah Harr. He has spent the last 8 years in the State House representing South Central Springfield, and he was elected to serve as Speaker in 2018. So we hope you can join us virtually on December the 15th at 1:30 p.m. to hear his reflections as he concludes his House service. And speaking of concluding their service, as Matt mentioned earlier, this is my last Good Morning Springfield. I'm wrapping up my term as Chamber Chairman and just want to thank you for allowing me the privilege to serve in this role in 2020. It has truly been a highlight of my professional career, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And I just want to make sure that everyone knows, just we have a wonderful, wonderful community and a wonderful Chamber of Commerce. And this chamber staff, Matt, and everyone has just continued to amaze me all year. If you think about it, March was the last month that we met in person for Good Morning Springfield, and then the world changed, and in April we did not skip a beat. We were right back on it with Good Morning Springfield presented virtually, and really I think if you didn't know so, you would think this is how we've always been doing it. So the chamber staff has just come through month after month after month to meet our members where they are and to provide the needed resources and information to help us in this really challenging time. So thank you very much, chamber staff. I appreciate you. I also greatly appreciate our board of directors and our executive team. Couldn't think of a better group to serve with this year in this capacity. You have been tremendous, and your commitment to the chamber has really just shown through this year. And then also to all of our chamber volunteers, all of our committee chairs and those volunteers who have stepped up to do the really important work of the chamber. You are so appreciated. Next month, you will be led by our new chamber chairman, Logan Aguirre, with 417 Magazine, and I'm super excited for Logan. I know she is going to really do some great things next year, and so look forward to that. And then lastly, I just want to thank the business community. There is no community that I would rather live and work in, and this business community has been tremendous. So thank you for sticking with us this year. We have tried to do everything we can to meet you where you are, and you have responded in such a positive way. And I personally appreciate that very much, and I know the full chamber staff does as well. So good morning, Springfield. It's been my pleasure to serve in this capacity, and please stay safe and have a wonderful holiday season. So I will turn it back to Matt.
Thank you, Robin. Thanks so much for leading us so well this year, and happy birthday, Jim. It is great to wish you happy. And Jim, Robin, I will say I wish you both could have seen the look on the face of our superintendent when he heard that you had asked Santa for snow. That was great. That was priceless. It was just priceless. The kids are really cheering at home too. Well, our monthly sponsor and host this morning, and we are so pleased and thankful for the ongoing great relationship and leadership that they show in our community and really in a whole lot of communities, is Bass Pro Shops. Springfield is so fortunate to be the hometown of Johnny Morris and Bass Pro Shops. During a year that has brought unprecedented challenges to all of us, we're fortunate to be home to the number 3 most reputable retailer in America right here, according to Reputation.com, with a strong focus on giving back to the community since its early founding which was now nearly 50 years ago. In the throes of the coronavirus pandemic, as the critical supply of personal protective equipment was in high demand and short supply nationwide, Johnny Morris personally donated 1 million FDA-approved face masks to healthcare workers and first responders working on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic crisis across the United States, including right here in Springfield. Bass Pro's COVID safety measures and procedures put in place in the early stages of the pandemic have been recognized and applauded by governors and health departments alike as a best practice for retailers and other public facilities. In fact, Missouri Governor Mike Parson visited the flagship Granddaddy store right here where we are today in Springfield in May to celebrate the state's reopening, praising Bass Pro as an example for the rest of the state to look to for safety and innovation. In November, Johnny and Bass Pro Shops teamed with longtime friend and NASCAR legend Richard Childress to donate more than $70,500 to the Ozarks Food Harvest, which is experiencing, as you might expect, historic demand due to the pandemic. The donation was the largest company donation to Ozarks Food Harvest during all of 2020 and provided more than 282,000 meals to families throughout the Ozarks. Bass Pro Shops even found a way to help families continue to enjoy the long-treasured tradition of meeting Santa Claus right here with an innovative, contactless experience that protects everyone's health and safety, and that makes some of us nervous having Santa this close while we're trying to do the work that we do. We better do it well with everything on the line for Christmas. In the midst of all of this, Big Cedar Lodge celebrated the grand opening of the first public golf course designed by Tiger Woods, Paynes Valley, to international accolades and a live broadcast on the Golf Channel. And Wonders of Wildlife National Museum and Aquarium was once again voted America's best aquarium in a national poll conducted by USA Today. Both continue to attract worldwide attention for Springfield and the Ozarks. Well, today is really one of the most special editions of Good Morning Springfield of the year, and this is frequently, every year really, one of the most eagerly anticipated Good Morning Springfield events of the year. And though we're not able to gather together personally, I know that they have a wonderful special program planned for us right here in Santa's workshop. And now let's transition over to Sarah Huff with Bass Pro Shops to get started with today's program. Sarah?
Good morning, Springfield. Thank you, Matt, for that introduction and highlighting the many ways that Bass Pro has continued to inspire people to enjoy, love, and conserve the great outdoors. Yes, even in 2020. So what a year, huh? Deep breath. In some ways, it feels like we were just sitting together in White River Conference Center celebrating Good Morning Springfield in 2019. I was really hopeful that this year we would be able to gather in person, but this close to Christmas, we just couldn't risk Santa getting sick or worse, you. So here we are, connecting online, but with no less excitement for the upcoming holiday season. I won't lie, at first I was pretty grinchy about doing the Bass Pro Shops Good Morning Springfield virtually. How would we have fun if we weren't face-to-face feasting on those amazing breakfast potatoes, or giving away fuzzy socks, or sharing heartwarming stories of local heroes? But I realized we're still together. It's just different. To put it mildly, 2020 has been different, and at many times hard for our neighbors and community. But if you look, and not even that hard, you'll find plenty of good. Here at Bass Pro, we've seen unprecedented interest in the outdoors, which of course brings us great joy. Purchases of fishing licenses were up double digits, and in our retail stores, we were able to adapt with safety measures that enabled our team to connect millions of customers to the great outdoors, some for the first time. We might have missed soccer games, but we found a good fishing hole and watched our kids delight in their first catch. We might have missed dinners out with friends, but we joined fellow explorers discovering new nooks and crannies in these Ozarks hills. We might have missed seeing our coworkers face-to-face sometimes, but we slowed down enough during the workday to notice that there was a goldfinch perched outside our work-from-home window watching us work. It was just different. Today, we're excited to share with you a small portion of the local good from 2020. This year, dozens of organizations have stepped up in big ways and different ways to help our community. Here are just a few that have made Santa's good list, and he's been keeping it. The Community Foundation of the Ozarks granted over $3 million to organizations responding to and recovering from the pandemic. Ozarks Food Harvest, which Matt mentioned we were pleased to support earlier this year during Hunger Action Month, has provided a record-breaking 16 million meals. That's hard to say. 16 million. That's $25.5 million worth of food and support for hunger relief in our community. Camp Barnabas, who had to cancel their amazing summer camp experiences, used their expertise and their passion to launch a support care program for special needs students. When school and child care centers were impacted by closures, Discovery Center offered free child care for healthcare workers who were on the front lines of the pandemic, providing over 100,000 hours of educational care. And we can't forget our local healthcare heroes, workers themselves who steadfastly provided compassionate care to those who are sick. The list is long, but as we sit here today in Santa's Wonderland, I can't help but think of the kids in our community and the challenges that they've faced. So many counted on schools and teachers to not only teach them, but to provide food, safety, and a sense of normalcy. And although this setup might seem small in the grand scheme, it's why it was so important to our founder, Johnny Morris, and the team at Bass Pro Shops to find a way to make Santa's Wonderland a reality this year, despite the challenges. And with our innovative Santa shield and some extra sanitation training for the elves, we did it. It's different, but we did it. In a much bigger way, one local organization, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Springfield, went above and beyond helping kids, providing much more than Christmas magic this year. Joining me this morning is Brandy Harris, CEO of the Boys and Girls Club. Brandy has been a champion of kids in our community for her whole career. She began as a classroom teacher at her alma mater, Hillcrest High, before moving to a position with the Boys and Girls Clubs in Lawrence, Kansas. Luckily for us, we were able to snag Brandy back, and she moved back to Springfield and has been leading the Boys and Girls Clubs organization since 2019, which feels like 10 years, but has only been a couple of years. I grew up in a family of educators and have been around a lot of teachers and a lot of childcare workers in my life, and I am not sure I have met many, if any, who have as much passion for kids as Brandy. So Brandy, thank you for joining us this morning for this conversation on how your organization not only managed the pandemic, but took a different approach to serving the kids and families in the Ozarks. You've done a lot of good.
Oh my gosh. Sarah, that was so beautiful, the whole thing. Thank you so much for having me. I'm overwhelmed, like I've never sat up this straight ever, but Santa's like here, so I'm like so nervous. And it's just beautiful. Everything is beautiful, and I feel the holiday spirit here, which I think we all desperately need this year. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. So walk us through Boys and Girls Club. This is not a new organization. You serve a lot of kids in the community. You have a model. You're working through it. And overnight, things kind of change. What were the needs that came up for kids and families in the Ozarks? And how did you guys make sure that those needs were taken care of?
Yeah, Boys and Girls Clubs of Springfield has been a staple in this community for 82 years. November 4th was our 82nd birthday, and it's just so amazing to think that this organization has been serving this community for as long as we have. On March 18th, we had to make the gut-wrenching decision to close our doors, which is really the antithesis of what we want to do. We want to open clubs on every corner, on every street. So we had to close down because we knew we didn't have the infrastructure or the capacity to safely accommodate our kids. So on March 18th, that decision was made, and we closed our doors. On March 19th, we tried our hardest to open new ones. So I will never forget this moment. It's in our conference room, and there are about 9 people, all from different walks of life with different lived experiences, partner agencies, because we knew there were some things we couldn't meet on our own. We had informed, connected board members, Club Blue members, which is our young professionals group, staff, and we all just sat down. And I can still see when you write something on a whiteboard and it doesn't fully erase, I can still see it every time I walk in there, COVID-19 response plan. And I'm thinking, for 2 weeks, we've got to come up with a plan to serve our families. And our 2 main priorities were resources and connections. We knew that despite many of our families qualifying for government assistance, they couldn't find essential items on the shelves. So how could we fill that gap? We used our connections with Ozarks Food Harvest, with SG Food Service, with other local organizations like Care to Learn to fill health and hygiene gaps. We thought, if you come to the club and you get a meal, that's a sense of normalcy, right? If we can provide that for you, something can feel normal during this time. We also know that when you come to the club, you've got an adult who's over the moon for you. So how do we maintain those connections? I think so important for kids, some sense of normalcy, structure, stability is so important. The 9 of us just thought, what do we do to make this happen? And 12 hours later, we had food distribution sites set up at 3 of our locations, a virtual programming presence to maintain connections with kids. We were delivering hotspots and laptops to kids who didn't have those connections to us on their own. And I will never forget it, and how many people in this community came together to make that happen. It was remarkable.
Yeah, things changed overnight.
Overnight.
Yeah. Well, let's talk numbers. How many kids have you guys served? Meals have you distributed? I know you've had a big impact. What does that look like?
So from March to July, we served over 44,000 meals. We served over 600 families and we served 868 kids. Then we served over 500 community members who are not a part of our traditional club membership. So based on our locations of our physical food distribution sites, we had people calling us and messaging us on our social media accounts saying, I can't get access to health and hygiene items or food or anything, like can we utilize your services? Of course. So like how do we just make this happen and help serve this community any way we can? So our numbers through July, that's kind of our numbers through July, but then afterwards we started to phase open our clubs to serve kids, and we realized there are so many kids in this community that need help or support during COVID, during their whole lives, really. But during COVID, it was just this unique new need, and we were able to meet it. It took a lot of planning and execution and a lot of like really passionate people. But like if that's something we can do to lighten the load for a family, there's no question about it.
Yeah. Were there any community MVPs? You've mentioned a lot of partners that you guys worked with, and you know we talk about that a lot in Springfield. We collaborate, we work well together, but this really, the rubber met the road in this situation. So I know you had some MVPs that really went above and beyond. And
I think I've said this maybe every day since March, but I would not want to COVID in any other community. I'm telling you, people have come together like I've never seen before, and you hear about certain community MVPs all the time. So like maybe you hear my name specifically, or Boys and Girls Club, or Discovery Center, or Cox, or Mercy, or all these incredible places that did whatever they could to make the world a better place during COVID. But there are so many people, like community MVPs, people like you, Sarah, who would check in on me and make sure I had everything that I needed, or wanted to find ways to give back and help kids. People like, I asked on social media, I need 500 masks and I can't get them anywhere. The next day I had 500 masks at the club. Either they were homemade or they were purchased.
yeah.
Community MVPs like my husband, who runs a small business and did everything that he could do to make sure that his people had the skills and tools necessary to successfully navigate COVID while also supporting me. It was an incredibly difficult time for Boys and Girls Club staff members. All 96 of them essentially got new job descriptions and said, whatever it takes, we got to serve our kids. Those are MVPs for me.
Yeah. Well, how, and there are a lot.
There's so
that's
many.
Great to recognize, the number of volunteers and board members, and I know you guys had people coming out of the woodwork to help in a lot of different ways. So
yeah, it's remarkable. And Santa was great too.
Yes.
So nervous. I'm like, what?
Have there been any unexpected good things that have come from having to transition so quickly, from the changes that you guys have implemented? What's the unexpected good?
Yeah. I think the longer I reflect on this, the more I could share. But first, we now have a pandemic policy in our Boys and Girls Clubs of Springfield Manual of Operations. So like if God forbid anything like this happens again, we're going to be so much more well-informed. The second is now we have this massive virtual programming platform. So like just think about if a kid is not able to come to the club, like maybe he or she is sick, or they're on vacation, or they want a connection with the staff, or they want to learn, or there's a way that we can help prevent learning loss. Like we now have over 450 hours of programming on a digital platform. We now have videos that staff are making to help engage and maintain connections with kids. That's remarkable, and we can use that from now on. Also, on a personal level, leading during a very stressful, chaotic time, not everyone is cut out for it. And there were so many times where I thought, I'm not cut out for this. It's really overwhelming, and I don't always know if I'm doing enough to help kids in this community. But I think there are a lot of experiences in my life, and maybe some darkness in my life, that has helped equip me to be able to lead during times like this and to adapt and to make sure I have a pulse on the kids that we serve, the families that we serve, and honestly, like, that's been really healing and wonderful for me to be able to reframe some of the things that weren't great that have helped make me able to serve kids the best I possibly can now.
Yeah. Well, if you hadn't felt overwhelmed, if there's someone who hasn't felt overwhelmed in 2020, I feel like we might need to check your pulse a bit, because we've all had those moments, and some more than others. Of course, your job is very important, and you do a lot of good, and so
Thank you.
I'm sure that is overwhelming, but you're doing a great job. What are you most looking forward to after COVID? Post-COVID, the post-COVID era for Boys and Girls Clubs.
Okay, first, I just want to be in a room full of people and dance. I cannot wait for that to happen and dance battle with the kids at the club, because I think they maybe think I haven't done that in a while, so I've lost the skills. I haven't, Boys and Girls Club members. The second is we're opening a brand new Boys and Girls Club location in August of 2021. And if you think about it, we are running a capital campaign in the middle of a pandemic, and we are receiving support, and people are understanding how important a club presence in the Tom Watkins neighborhood is. And, to jump back to the number of kids that we served and the people that we served, a lot of people that we served were in that neighborhood, and we don't have a permanent club presence there. So it just certified that this is going to be life-changing for a lot of families, and it's a remarkable feeling. We're going to be opening a new club. It'll be our 7th location. I can't wait for that moment. And also having new partnerships with you, and being able to have these really quality programs inside of our clubs that help kids connect to the outdoors, that help kids understand the importance of environmental sustainability. That's just remarkable, and I'm really looking forward to those moments.
Yeah.
Cutting the ribbon and dancing.
Yes. Yeah, and it's exciting. We've been working on Outdoor Adventures is the name of the program, but an outdoor education curriculum for after-school kids for a couple of years, and just so happens it's delivered virtually, train those after-school care providers in that program, and so we're really excited about partnering with you, the YMCA, the after-school care providers here in Springfield to connect kids to the outdoors.
Yes.
So how can people help this holiday season? What are the biggest needs? How can we give back?
So traditionally, our clubs host these massive holiday dinners. There's activities and crafts, and special guests show up, and we serve this beautiful meal, and every kid gets a personalized gift, and it's just really it's incredible to be a part of. This year we can't do that safely, and we know it, but we still, more than ever, want to make sure that our families have a special holiday. So we're collecting $20 to $25 gift cards from local restaurants. So essentially families can have a dinner on us, but then we're also supporting local restaurants. It works really well. We still need about 175 of them, so any support there would be very helpful. We also have angel trees across the city. You can learn about them by listening to iHeartRadio. And we still have some families that need to be sponsored for Christmas. So if you have it on your heart to support Boys and Girls Club kids and families this year, we would absolutely love that support. So
awesome. Well, there's a lot of ways to give back, and those seem like pretty easy ones.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I'm sure our viewers will jump right on that. So, okay, these questions weren't on the list. Rapid fire. Christmas questions.
Okay.
What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Okay, it's probably Home Alone 2, and everybody gets on me for it because they think Home Alone is better, but it's not.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm so stressed.
Well, my 7-year-old asked me to go to New York for Christmas because he had watched Home Alone 2, so I think he might agree with you.
Oh my God, thank God.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll have to
Start a
connect you
group.
guys. Real tree or artificial?
Oh my God, okay. I love the smell and the look of a real tree in someone else's house, so I don't have to take care of it. In my home, it's artificial and it's pre-lit because it's easier. Oh.
Hey, you do you.
Okay, thank you.
Do you like snow?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh my God. I'm so nervous. Are these right answers?
Yes,
okay.
they're all correct. No, okay, so what are you asking Santa for this year? We're sitting here, we're in front of Santa. I know he's got a big bag of toys in the back, so what are you asking for this year?
Well, number one, that big bag of toys so I can give it to kids. And then number two, I would just love for people to be so kind to others. Like, this world is really hard right now, and I just think the world would be so much better if we just, like, were nice to each other. Like, that's the challenge that I want to get. Like, if you ever want to be mean, like, just try saying nothing instead of being mean, because we need all the love and support we can get right now. So if you can magically do that, not just here, but like across the globe, that would be so great. No
Yeah.
pressure.
Okay. Santa, okay, last question. How much good could you do with $20,000 for Boys and Girls Club? How
Is
much?
this a joke?
No, it's not a joke. How much could you do?
Like everything, probably. Is this a joke? Because it's a mean joke. If
No,
you're like,
no, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. Santa, it's not a joke, is it? Have you got something for Brandy back there? I thought he did.
I mean, you said 20. I'm gonna be like disappointed if it's toys now. Is that me?
No.
Oh,
Brandy, we are so thankful for the leadership, for the great
Oh my
support
God, this
that
is
Boys
real?
and
Is
Girls
this
Club. It's real.
Is this on camera? Like, is this for real? Like, all of you are.
It's like Publishers Clearinghouse. But we are so excited to be able to give back to you today, to the
What?
Boys and Girls Club of Springfield. You have adapted. You have served.
Oh my God.
We are really excited to present this to you guys, and we know that you will. You'll take care of the future of our community. So
I'm gonna give my so many
this
gift
is-
cards. What do I do? I'm so okay. Oh my God, $20,000? Like, do you know how much that is? Like, okay, I can't touch you, can I? No. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. Sarah.
we are so grateful for the organizations who have adapted and served our
Oh my
community
God.
this past year. We mentioned a few this morning, and we got to hear in depth about the great work of our local Boys and Girls Clubs. Many of our local nonprofits are doing great work with reduced funding. Did you hear anything I said?
This is real check. Say it again in here that this is really ours.
This is really yours.
Okay.
This is a Christmas gift from Santa and Bass Pro Shops for the
Oh
great
my
work
God.
that your organization is doing supporting kids in Springfield. In
my
addition, as an homage to 2020, we are pledging an additional $20,000 in grants to local organizations before the end of the year. So we encourage you guys out there to give back where you can to your favorite causes this holiday season. Thank you all for joining us virtually today and letting us share a little Christmas magic. It looks like we need to wrap up because I see a few boys and girls who are getting ready for their visit with Santa. I think we actually might have left Matt outside the workshop in the snow. So Matt, if you're still out there, have you got that snowman built yet? How's that going?
I have a whole family of snowmen. They are beautiful. They are ready for the Christmas season, and I don't think any of us could be any more ready for the holiday season and the spirit of the season than what you have just given us this morning. And thank you so much, Sarah and Brandy, for the tremendous work in our community that you do and that is represented and was described today, and just for this incredibly inspiring program. Being here and hearing this and seeing the good that happens in our community, especially now, is just truly puts us in the spirit of the season. So thank you very much for that. Also, so grateful to Bass Pro Shops just for all that they do in our community. You got a taste of it today just in watching how they go about life and hearing how Sarah talks about the various ways that they just clearly love the community and love helping people and supporting all of the good things happening. So thank you so much, Bass Pro Shops, and also for all you do to promote the region and as a destination for those who love and support conservation. Bass Pro is such a vital asset in defining the outdoors everywhere piece of the Springfield region's special and unique identity. So thank you, Bass Pro Shops, for your continued support of the Chamber and of Good Morning Springfield. It's so special to be here in Santa's workshop today. I want to thank you for hosting us and for continuing this favorite Chamber Christmas tradition. Also want to give a big thank you to our Good Morning Springfield presenting sponsors, BKD Wealth Advisors. Our 2021 schedule for Good Morning Springfield is set, so I want to share that with you. We'll be offering those events in a hybrid model that will allow you to register and attend virtually or in person. And we'll have many safety protocols in place for in-person attendees, including masking and social distancing through 2021. And while we've been providing virtual and in-person attendees with a breakfast option, that'll be part of it, a breakfast option. You won't actually be receiving that food and having that food in person at the event. So just please keep that in mind. We'll bring food back to the event itself when it's considered safe to do so. You'll also have to be a pass holder or register for the event to have access to the program in 2021. So we want you to do that and start taking advantage of those great programs that we'll have coming up for you next year. You can mark your calendar for the final Public Policy Speaker Series on December 15th at 1:30 p.m. with House Speaker Elijah Har. You can register for that on the Chamber website as well. And a quick reminder, tomorrow, Friday, December 4th, is the last day to submit nominations for the 2021 Athena Award and the Virginia Fry Rising Star Award. You can visit springfieldchamber.com and you'll find a link to the nomination form on the home page. We look forward to seeing you or having you tune in for our first Good Morning Springfield of 2021. It will take place at Missouri State University in the Plaster Student Union Theater on Thursday, January 7th. That'll be a special passing of the torch program featuring our incoming chairman of the board of the Chamber of Commerce, Logan Aguirre, and our outgoing chairman, Robin Robeson, who you heard from earlier today. Because the Chamber has moved its annual meeting to May 7th in 2021, the January Good Morning Springfield will really be our opportunity to capture Robin's reflections on 2020 and also give us our first real conversation with Logan about her vision for 2021. And as you'll recall, January 7th is also the date that we dropped the first episode of our SGF Business Insider podcast, which features an extended conversation with Robin and Logan. You can subscribe now to SGF Insider via iTunes or Spotify or any of your preferred podcasting hosting services. Those are available right now with a special bonus episode that you can listen to even now, and you'll also be able to find that on our website. Really enjoying being in the holiday spirit now. After that wonderful program and the exciting announcement, that was just a very, very special moment that we had today. I'd like to ask Sarah Huff to join me now at the podium. Anything else that you'd like to add, Sarah, or what do we need to do today?
Matt, thank you all, and thank you to the Chamber for all that you've done to support the community in 2020. If you've attended our Good Morning Springfield in December, you know that we wouldn't quite be finished until we
I thought we were maybe finished. Were we not?
No. Well,
Okay.
we sold out of the inflatables. I don't know if you sent in like an army or something to purchase all of those up. So
There's no room left in the yard.
But
anyway.
I have noticed, so here in Santa's Wonderland, we're right across from this giant row of boats, and Matt's been standing over here. We couldn't find him.
Yeah.
He was wandering through the boats, and so, Matt, we are really excited this morning to share with you
Are
and
you
present
kidding me?
your very own
Stop it.
Nitro Z21
Oh my gosh, I can't
remote
believe
controlled
Is this
boat.
real? Is
Yeah,
this
it's
real?
a really
This is fantastic. I'm so thrilled. My son is going to be Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
I'm sure-
You know what? It's wonderful.
Do you have
Mary,
an elf on the shelf? They ride very well on
That's
these.
perfect for the elf in the shelf. Oh, Merry Christmas.
No,
thank you so much,
thank
Sarah.
you, Matt, for all that you do. We thought, as Chamber President, you would love to have a memento of our boats, which are made here in the Ozarks. And
That's fantastic.
thank you for supporting business here in Springfield and leading us through this challenging year.
Thank you so much, Sarah. In all seriousness, it is great to have that representing this tremendous flagship of our community. When I'm not playing with it, it will be in my office where people can see it. So thank you very much for that. Thank you so much to Bass Pro Shops and to all of you for being such a special part of our community in this challenging year. But what a great way to go into this December as we prepare for the holidays. Thank you so much for being with us today, for joining us virtually, for being a part of the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce. Good morning, Springfield.
Running around, they tell us to spend our lives just selling ourselves to get attention.